In today's episode, we're going to talk about a core method that has upended the underlying logic of the entire manifestation space, yet is completely misunderstood by 90% of practitioners. It's not some fancy new visualization technique, nor a powerful affirmation. It's the method that Neville Goddard emphasized throughout his entire life. Yet very few people truly grasp the settled state manifestation method, and its core is just one sentence. Remember it as if it already happened.
That sentence is so familiar to me. I saw it everywhere when I first got into manifestation, but to be honest, I never really understood what it meant. I always thought manifestation was just visualizing the scene of your desire fulfilled, feeling the excitement, and believing it would happen. I tried that for 2 or 3 years, and none of my big desires ever came true. Instead, the more I practiced, the more anxious I got, staring at the 3D world every day, driving myself crazy waiting.
That's so relatable, and it was the biggest pitfall I fell into back then. So many people new to manifestation come to me saying they do visualization and affirmations all day, stay in a high vibration from morning to night, yet their desire shows no sign of movement. Instead, they get stuck in self-doubt, wondering if their state is wrong. The truth is, from the very beginning, we've been heading in the wrong direction.
Wrong direction? What do you mean by that?
Let me start with a question. The same one Abdullah asked Neville, and the one Neville would ask the audience at every single lecture. When you sit down to imagine your desire fulfilled, what are you really feeling? Be honest with yourself. Don't force that perfect I already have it state. Just tell me your most authentic feeling.
To be honest, most of the time it's 2 feelings. One is intense excitement when I think about it. Like, wow, I'm about to have this. My whole body is tingling. The other is a mix of hope and unease, thinking it's definitely coming on one hand, but can't help worrying what if it doesn't on the other. Sometimes I'm forcing myself to hold the image. My brain is so tight, like I'm trying to push this picture into reality with willpower alone.
See, excitement, hope, effort. These 3 feelings are the root cause of manifestation failure for 99% of people. Let's break down the subtext behind each of these feelings. Excitement says, "This is wonderful, and it's coming to me." Hope says, "I'm working as hard as I can to make this happen." Do you see what they all have in common?
They all place this thing in the future.
Exactly. All of them are rooted in hasn't happened yet, is on the way. On the level of feeling, they confirm to your consciousness with absolute certainty one thing: you do not yet have what you desire. And the law of consciousness we keep talking about, the only creative power in this universe, never responds to the image you're imagining. It only responds to the state of being you occupy while you imagine.
I always thought consciousness responds to how specific the image is, how intense the emotion is. That's not the case.
It's really not. If your state's wanting, consciousness will create more circumstances for you to want. If your state is reaching, consciousness will create more circumstances that justify your hope, which, to put it plainly, means the thing you want will always be on the way, never actually arriving. That's why so many people practice for years, stuck forever in the cycle of hoping and waiting. This is the root of it all.
It all makes sense now. Every time I finished a visualization, I thought, I've done my part, now I just wait for it to come. Then I waited every day. The more I waited, the more anxious I got. The more anxious I got, the less it came. Turns out my state was wrong from the very start. So what is the correct state? Is it the settled state you mentioned?
Yes, the settled state. It's the core of what Abdullah taught Neville and the true state behind Neville's famous phrase, the wish fulfilled. Let me first correct the most common misunderstanding. Many people think the state of the wish fulfilled is that ecstatic, peak, emotional, deeply spiritual feeling. It's not that at all. The true state of fulfillment is extremely plain, extremely ordinary, so ordinary that you barely feel any emotional fluctuation at all.
Wait, that's completely the opposite of what I thought. I always thought successful manifestation requires that super intense emotion. Otherwise, how do you send a signal to the subconscious?
Let me give you an example. Right now, think about what you had for dinner 3 nights ago. Just hold that specific image, where you were sitting, what you ate, what it tastes like. Now notice how you feel. Is there excitement? Is there hope? Is there any effort you need to put in to hold that image?
None at all. It's just a plain image. Just knowing, oh, I ate that day. No emotional ups and downs, no effort to think about it. It's just a fact that already happened.
That's exactly it. Facts don't need to be maintained. You don't need to stir up emotion about them every morning. You don't need to keep confirming they're real. They just are real. It's done. It's settled. It's behind you. That is the feeling you need to bring to your desire, not the feeling of it coming towards you, but the feeling that it's already here, that you've lived with it for months, that it's become the most ordinary part of your life, as plain as the dinner you ate 3 nights ago.
I think I'm starting to feel it, but it's still a little fuzzy. So instead of standing in the present, imagining the scene of the desire fulfilled in the future, I should stand in a point long after the desire has been fulfilled and look back.
That's perfectly accurate. This is the core reversal of the entire method. All your previous imagining was forward imagining. You stand in the present, project your desire out in front of you, forever looking at it across a gap, always acutely aware that I am here, it is there, I haven't arrived yet. The correct direction is backward imagining. You completely reverse the direction, stand at the end where your desire is already fulfilled, and look back.
How do I actually do this, stand at the end and look back? For example, if I want to manifest a sum of money, I used to visualize the moment I get the transfer, the numbers in my mobile banking app. What should I imagine with this method?
Don't imagine the moment you receive the money. Don't fixate on that dramatic, result-filled moment. You need to imagine an ordinary afternoon 3 months after the money arrived. You might be sitting on the couch drinking water or taking a walk downstairs, and a plain thought crosses your mind. It's funny, just a few months ago I was worried about money, and now it's not even a concern anymore. Just that plain, backward-looking observation. No excitement, no ecstasy. As natural as thinking, last month I was wearing a down jacket, now I'm in a t-shirt.
I get it now. It's not about what I got. It's about the feeling of normalcy after I've had it for a long time. What about manifesting a romantic relationship?
It's the same. Don't imagine the moment you meet the person, the confession, the day you make the relationship official. Those are all future-facing, unfulfilled scenes. You need to imagine a quiet evening 6 months into the relationship. You're each sitting on opposite ends of the couch. They're reading a book. You're scrolling through your phone. The house is quiet. You suddenly think of their name, as naturally as you think of your own. No butterflies, no anxiety, just the quiet knowing they're here. This is my life. That is the settled state.
And health works the same way, right? Don't imagine the moment you recover, but imagine months after recovery, when you're eating normally, walking normally, and suddenly think, wow, it's been so long since I felt unwell.
Exactly. You'll find that the core feeling is identical across all these scenarios. Ordinary, natural, settled, done. It's not some earth-shattering miracle moment. It's a former miracle that has become your everyday life. This is the only state the law responds to, as Abdullah taught.
It sounds so simple. So simple it's hard to believe. Can manifestation really happen just from this?
Let me tell you a real case documented in Neville's book, and you'll understand. There was a woman in Pittsburgh who owned an inexpensive old organ. She desperately wanted a top-of-the-line Baldwin organ, but she simply didn't have the money. A friend who knew Neville's teachings visited her and gave her one very simple instruction. Every time you sit down to play this old organ, imagine the name Baldwin printed across the front of it. Feel that it is their finest model and that it is already fully paid for.
That's it. No telling her to visualize receiving the new organ. No telling her to stir up excitement.
None of that. The friend didn't even tell her to do long meditations or write affirmations. He just told her that every time she played, to treat the organ in front of her as the one she desired, to feel that quiet, settled certainty that it was already hers. And the woman did exactly that. Every time she sat down to play, She returned to that calm assumption. This organ is already what I want it to be. It is already mine. No euphoria, no effort, as natural as pressing the keys, day after day.
And then, did she actually get it?
Some time later, her father passed away unexpectedly, leaving her an inheritance. She spent the first payment on necessary home repairs, and not long after, a second check arrived for exactly $3,500. She took that money to the Baldwin dealer. The top model she wanted was priced at $5,000, but it was on sale at the time. Plus, she got a trade-in allowance for her old organ. When all was said and done, the final price was exactly $3,000. She had $3,500, more than enough.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
The most important part isn't the coincidence. It's that when the organ was delivered to her home, the woman was not surprised at all. Because in her consciousness, that organ had already been hers for months. It had already happened. She was simply watching the physical world catch up to the truth she had already accepted within herself.
I'm getting goosebumps. So the power of the settled state is that it closes the gap between the inner and the outer?
Yes, but not by compressing time in some mystical way. It does it by removing the one thing that was always in the way. You're reaching, you're hoping, all the effort you put towards something you still treat as absent. When you settle into the state of it already being done, you stop broadcasting lack to the universe. And the law, which only responds to your true state of being, naturally begins to move.
Now I finally understand why my previous practices never worked. I was always forcing myself to create, forcing myself to believe it will come. But at my core, I was always confirming it hasn't come yet. So how do I actually practice this method? Are there daily steps I can follow?
Absolutely. And it's extremely simple, not complicated at all. You don't need to meditate for an hour or two every day. You just need to seize the 3 most critical moments of the day. The first moment is the morning. Before you get out of bed, before you reach for your phone, before the worries of the day creep into your mind. Spend 2 minutes in that still state between sleep and waking. Stand in that end state we talked about. Look back at your desire. Feel that plain certainty of it already being done. Then rise and carry that feeling with you through the first hour of your day.
This is so practical. I'm at work all the time, and my mind constantly wanders to when my desire will come, and the more I think about it, the more anxious I get. Now I can use this to pull myself back right away.
Exactly. And the more you practice it, the faster and more natural this redirection becomes, until one day you notice that the reaching feeling has simply stopped appearing altogether.
The third and most important moment is before sleep. The state you fall asleep in is the state that is most deeply imprinted into your consciousness. Most people fall asleep every night going over what they don't yet have, replaying their lack over and over, which means while you sleep, your consciousness is busy creating more lack. So starting tonight and every night after, fall asleep inside the memory of your fulfilled desire, not trying to dream about your desire. You're simply falling asleep as someone who already has it. One thing I've heard a lot of people say is, if I haven't actually received this thing yet, acting like it's already happened is just self-deception, isn't it?
This is another extremely common misunderstanding, and I need to clear it up completely here. You are not creating a false memory. You are not pretending. You are recognizing the ultimate truth. We've been taught by the world our entire lives that what we can see and touch in the outer world is real, and what we imagine in our minds is the creative world. The outer physical world is the expressed world. Everything you create in your consciousness right now already exists as a complete reality in the inner world of consciousness. It just hasn't crossed over from the inner to the outer yet. It's like planting a seed. It has already taken root and sprouted under the soil. You just can't see it yet. You can't say it doesn't exist. So you're not lying to yourself. You're recognizing the reality that is already yours, that already exists, and settling into that state, waiting for the physical world to catch up.
That's a total breakthrough for me. Now another question, one that me and so many of my friends care about. When I settle into this state, how do I know when it will manifest? What do I do if I can't stop thinking about the timing?
When you truly and consistently settle into the settled state, you'll find that you simply don't care about the question of when anymore. This isn't indifference towards your desire. It's something far better. It's the natural posture of someone who already has what they want. It's like knowing your paycheck will be deposited into your account on time every month. You don't run to the mailbox every morning anxiously waiting for a check. You don't stare at your phone every day, checking if the money has arrived. You just live your life normally, because you know it's already secured. It's yours. It's not going anywhere.
Exactly. That feeling of this is a done deal. I don't have to worry about it at all.
That's right. The life this practice builds for you, in the end, is not a life of constant, intense visualization, not a life of anxiously monitoring your state every second. It's an ordinary, calm life, a life where the fulfillment of your wish has become as natural to your inner world as your own name, needing no maintenance at all. You just move through your days from inside that state of fulfillment. And when it appears in the outer world, it will feel like a miracle. It will feel like the arrival of something you already knew was coming.
This episode has completely unblocked all the sticking points I've had for years. I always thought manifestation was something you had to work really hard at, but it turns out the real core is letting go of all that effort and just settling into the state of it already being done.
This is the core of what Abdullah taught Neville and what Neville spent his life teaching. Manifestation is never about going out and fighting for something or creating something from nothing. It's about recognizing within yourself that everything you desire is already yours. You don't need to reach. You don't need to hope. You don't need to stir up excitement. You just need to hope you remember a past event and settle into it. That's all.
Let's end with a simple practice the audience can do tonight, shall we?
Absolutely. Tonight, before you go to sleep, choose one desire. Just one. Don't try to do too much at once. In your imagination, go to an ordinary moment months after it has been fulfilled. Not the moment it arrives. The moment it has already become ordinary. Let yourself remember how it happened. Hold that backward-looking memory with the same casual certainty you would have remembering what you did yesterday. Then fall asleep inside that memory. No effort, no euphoria. Just settle. Just rest.
I'm sure everyone listening will feel the power of this settled state tonight.
If you got something out of today's episode, you can leave the word reset in the comments. Let's all start today, break free from the cycle of hoping and waiting, and truly settle into the fulfillment of it already being done.
And feel free to share your practice experiences and manifestation stories with us in the comments.
All right. That's all for this episode of Mind Creates Matter. I'm Lin Shen.
I'm Chemo.
We'll see you next time.